we don't want the truth. Why? Because if a truth comes in, it often means we have to face a belief that we've based part of our life on. We don't want to change that belief, because if we do, it means we have to change a huge part of who we are. But it's important to recognize that you're not changing who you were created to be. You're changing who you've been programmed to be. If your body, your mental, emotional, or physical self is uncomfortable, in any sort of discomfort and needs rebalancing, it is because you've forgotten who you are, and you've allowed yourself to believe that you are broken and something is wrong with you. Your soul gives you mental, emotional, and physical challenges when you've come away from the path of fulfilling your potential. The reflection of your discomfort level is a reflection of how far off your path you have navigated. Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers. This is part 6 of the story of creation, and I'm working directly with the Creator and the universal beings who created humanity to get the truth of who we are and why we exist. So part 35, we went a little bit into the concept of biology, if you will, human existence, and the what the cells need. And we talked a lot about oxygen. And so today we're going deeper into physical existence, and what they want to talk about today is self-healing. Okay, so self-healing is fundamentally different than self-care, the way we've been taught self-care is, right? It's an external thing you need to do for yourself. Self-healing it's really a recognition of how you were created. Okay, and they're showing me, humans we're addicted to going outside of ourselves when something is wrong, right? It's, can you check this? So you go to another person to check something, to fix something, to heal something. And ultimately, what you're communicating to the universe is, I don't know my body. I don't know what's wrong, and I don't know how to bring it back into balance. Because that's what healing really is. It's restoring balance to the cellular structure that is out of balance. Okay. And here's the really cool thing is, a lot of us, we go deep into the dramatics, if you will, of recognizing that it's out of balance for a reason, but it's understanding even more so that your job, it's not even a job. It's just recognition of self, right? You're meant to just simply pay attention. Pay attention to what your physical body needs. Yes, your emotional body and your mental state are vital too. We're going to get to those. But today we're going to talk about how to serve the physical aspects of who you are so that you can allow yourself to explore your potential, right? You can't fulfill your life's mission if you do not understand what you're capable of, okay? And if your tank isn't full, so to speak, okay? So they want you to look at your body as it's interesting. Okay, this is beautiful. So they want you to look at your body like a fuel tank, okay? But understanding that the way you treat the fuel tank that you have in your day-to-day life, okay? So it doesn't matter what it is, whatever vehicle you have or, whatever vehicles you participate. Maybe you take the bus, maybe you are, you bicycle, and your fuel is your leg power, right? So it doesn't matter, okay? What it is they want you to understand, okay, that your body is, it's a vessel, okay, that supports the nutrition of your, for your, I guess is the better word, is it supports the nutrition for your existence. Okay, it's that primal, it's that basic. And here's the thing, when you confuse it or you complicate it any more than that basic aspect, that's when you are confusing. You're confusing it, and you're confused in your own mind, and that's why you can't see through to how to restore balance. Okay, it's really and truly recognizing that fundamentally you were created to succeed. In order for you to succeed, your vessel needs to perform for you. It's meant to. In order for it to perform, it needs basic necessities. And this is where existence has sort of gotten way off track, okay? So your basic necessities are water and oxygen and primal attention, okay? And it's understanding that through those three primal necessities, okay, everything in existence can be yours. That's all you need. Now, water, not necessarily always for ingestion, because it's recognition that water is the foundation of how the cells come together and how they flow. Okay. It also determines the electrical stimulation, if you will, the level of electricity. Wow, that's hard for me to say today. It determines the level of electricity that is flowing through your cells at any given moment. That's what water's there for. Okay. I know that this is going to challenge a lot of minds that want to overcomplicate everything. But I want you to just try for a minute and ponder the fact that what if this really was true, okay? Because it's coming directly from those beings who created human existence. So this is before the use of science and the limits of science, before the use of technology. Those are great. But when you can understand the primal essence and the primal intention of existence and how everything was created, you become filled with primal wisdom, which is exactly what they're talking about. Okay. This is what you need. This is one of the three aspects of existence you need in order to restore balance. Primal awareness of yourself is being able to pay attention. Okay. Paying attention is not, oh, look at that. Maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this, maybe it's this. Oh, it could be this. Oh, and it's connected to this. And, well, I fell here and I did this. And then, this situation happened with my parents when I was younger. You have to stop. You have to stop letting your mind run away with all kinds of ideas that your brain is consumed with. Why? Because every single one of those are lies. And it's not that they didn't happen, that it's understanding that they're not the truth and the essence of the vibration, right? So again, we come back to creation. What is it? It's energy. It's frequency and vibration that is, it's the foundation of every aspect of your existence. And so your job is to allow that awareness to come up and through. And it can't if your mind takes the little bit of information you receive and runs away with it, right? Oh, I had this same thing when I was, when I was a kid, or when I, had my children, or, when whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is primal awareness of who you are and your existence is what leads healing. Why? Because the only reason that you are in existence is to fulfill your potential. Just feel that for a minute. And so your soul gives you mental, emotional, and physical challenges when you've come away from the path of fulfilling your potential. It's that simple. And so when you allow yourself to realign with that truth, with that awareness, then the rebalancing comes. The challenge is you will often receive the awareness of what's out of balance, and then your brain wants to fix it. Or it doesn't want to deal with it. So one of those two aspects, okay? And so when we go into either of those, what happens is, again, we're using our brain to determine how to restore balance. That's not how it works. You're self-healing, which means your cells know what to do, but they need you to give them what they need in order to do it. And we, as humans, have decided all the places and all the reasons that we can't show up. We can't come back to that healing, to that restoration, to that regeneration, because ultimately your cells can regenerate themselves. They were strategically designed. There's a reason why modern science has found that falls as we age. It's not intended to, but it does. Why does it? Because the more your brain decides it knows what you need and that you're broken, it turns the cells and the mechanism, if you will, the self-healing mechanism, it turns it off. Every time you're like, yeah, I know what it is, I got this, or I don't want to deal with it. Here's the thing. Self-healing, it's funny, the industry for healing, whether it's mainstream healing, whether it's natural, whether it doesn't even matter. But it's understanding that is $1 trillion business every year, and then some, multi-trillions. Okay. Why? Because people are tired of not feeling well. How do you know when you're feeling well? Because you're balanced. You're mentally, emotionally, and physically balanced. And when you're not, it feels anywhere from slight discomfort to absolutely excruciating. Now, the reflection of your discomfort level is a reflection of how far off your path you have navigated. And that's true. You haven't fallen off your path. You've navigated yourself into a corner or into a place where what you're doing is not nurturing. It's not giving fuel to your tank. And your job is to not go, how do I fix all these problems that are wrong? It's, what do I need? What does my body need to come back into balance? Let go of every mental aspect of the relationships, of the time, all the rules that you have in your head. Because here's the thing, okay? When you truly want magnificent levels of healing, magnificent meaning miraculous, seemingly miraculous to every mainstream medical and scientific rule book, if you will. Okay? Miracles happen every day. Why? Because when people, you can see it, they shift their focus. And their focus becomes wholly on remembering, number one, that they're self-healing. Believing it without doubt, 100%. Remember when I said, if fear didn't exist, then if every human for one moment didn't focus on fear, it would cease to exist. It's the same concept. If you believe 100% that you are self-healing, there is not a single part of your belief system that thinks you're broken or you're missing something or you can't do something. Because the biggest dynamic in that is the fear of not having enough to fulfill what you came here to do. But your soul would never do that. Your soul would never send you somewhere where you weren't going to have what you need to fulfill your mission. The challenge is we've decided we don't have what we need because we see someone else doing something and we're like, well, they're doing it this way, so I have to do it that way. That's what has to stop happening. Because your tank is going to be filled with what it is meant to be filled with for you, not for anybody else. Okay? This dynamic of comparison is one of the greatest poisons in human existence because it pits us against each other. That's the crazy thing, right? You think that it's harming your chances of success. Yes, but more than anything, it puts you in a position where you're pushing others away, where you're setting boundaries. Boundaries are some of the most dangerous things that humans can ever do, right? I mean, boundaries are based on fear and the need for protection. But when you understand who you are, you don't need to protect yourself because you understand everything you have and need is there, and everything that you aren't meant to, you'll know instantly. You don't need to protect yourself. The reality is we're coming to this place now in human existence where, and this is why you're seeing so much mental, emotional, and physical pain and suffering. Because we've gotten away from self-recognition. We've gotten away from the fundamental awareness of who we are and what we need to succeed. Okay? We've come to this place where what we believe we need to succeed is money or notoriety or recognition of whatever it is, and having, it doesn't matter. But there are physical representations. Okay? It doesn't, I mean, you may not want stuff, you may not have stuff, but you're still holding a belief of this is how I need to do everything. This is how I need to be seen. This is how, whatever, it doesn't even matter. What matters and what they're really showing is we're at this place where humanity is breaking up with drama. We're breaking up with the stigmas and the beliefs that we've been carrying for so long that make us feel like we're broken. Okay? If your body, your mental, emotional, or physical self is uncomfortable, in any sort of discomfort and needs rebalancing, it is because you've forgotten who you are. And you've allowed yourself to believe that you are broken and something is wrong with you. But the truth is, you're beautiful. And you're in your full expression, and it's time for you to use it. That tank, that fuel tank, doesn't get low when you know how to continuously feed it. Okay? And you don't feed it with stuff. You don't feed it with money. You don't feed it with food by going to the store and buying things, okay? You feed it when you treat yourself with compassion and respect. You feed it when you recognize that not only is your mental, emotional, and physical self-healing, you're self-governing. Self-governing means you always know who you are. You always know what you're meant to be doing, who you're meant to be doing it with, because you feel that governance. Remember, that's all about the connection with your soul. It's all about your connection to the universe itself. All of those aspects of yourself that were given to you at the moment of your conception in this universe, not this life. It's in this universe. So all of your lives, if you want to know more about all of that, I highly suggest reading Believe. All the basic information about your existence and creation is in there, okay? But right now, they really want you to go into that place of self-recognition and awareness and exploration, okay? So allowing yourself to go from, what is that? That's wrong. That hurts. I'm broken. I need someone to go fix this, okay? I need to go to someone to fix it. To go from that state of being into understanding how to allow your cells to come back into balance. Honestly, it's simple intention. Remember, intention becomes energy, becomes experience. You have to hold an intention that has no room at all for thinking you're broken, that there's something wrong with you, that you need to be fixed. When you can hold that space and that recognition and that awareness of knowing you have everything you need to restore balance, your job is to simply then allow yourself to focus. If you can do this through meditation, you can do it with a connection with your soul. It's really about bringing quiet to the mind. It's turning the mind right off, is really. So that's why I don't use the word meditation, because meditation is really mind driven. And I'm not a fan of meditation. I'm a fan of connecting with your soul, which is where you turn your mind off entirely and you allow the energy to speak through you and to you, and it will show you. But you have to be quiet enough to listen. So when the energy starts to move, if your brain goes, oh no, that's not where it's sore, or that's not what's upset, or oh my gosh, I'm going to have to deal with that, and you can feel emotions coming up, and you're like, nope, shut it down, go walk away, then you're right, you can't heal. But if you truly want to understand your capacity to heal, you're going to have to feel. Okay? The most miraculous things happen when you allow yourself to feel. This is not an emotional situation. It's understanding that the energy is in there. It is talking to you, and it is going to move throughout your body. And your mind is going to have emotional reactions to what it is seeing, healing, hearing, experiencing. It's supposed to. That's what your mind is designed to do. It's a follower. It is not a leader. Your mind is designed to allow you to have a deeper isn't quite the right word, but it's a different, if you will, understanding of what the energy is saying. That's it. That's all your mind is to do. It's your mind's whole job in this world. And so when you allow yourself to feel the energy of truth, okay, I encourage you to come into alignment with truth and then allow the vibration to move through your body, to notice where you're out of balance with truth, because truth is, right now it's the foundation of this universe, right? It was originally love and they shifted to truth. a number of years ago. Um, I've talked about that many, many times before in different experiences, so I'm not going to go into it here, but it is understanding that it is the most easeful energy for you to connect with because it is currently the foundation of our universe. But you have to want to, and you have to allow the truth to come in, no matter how uncomfortable it makes you. And this is where we block our healing. This is where we block our ability to self heal because we don't want the truth. Why? Because if a truth comes in, it often means we have to face a belief that we've based part of our life on. And we don't want to look at that belief. We don't want to change that belief because if we do, it means we have to change a huge part of who we are and how we be in the world. But it's important to recognize that you're not changing who you were created to be. You're changing who you've been programmed to be. And that's what you're meant to be doing right now, is changing that essence and allowing the truth to come through so that the healing can reach your cells. Now, for those who feel, I'm sure that you've been feeling the energy through this whole conversation of healing. I'm going to give you a moment now to feel it even more. I'm going to hold that space with the creator, with the angelics who created matter itself, okay? Because they're also, and Pan, um, all of the beings who understood and recognized that not only are we self-healing, but that self-healing needed to exist, okay? Because here's the thing, we didn't need it for millions and billions of years on a regular basis, right? We're at this place now where because we've been manipulated and we've become so disconnected from our true selves that our self-healing aspect is vital to our success. And it's also at the time when we're resisting allowing it in the most, okay? It's why, disease and trauma are so rampant in so many different ways. And so I'm just going to give you a moment, if you allow yourself to truly believe for just one moment that you are self-healing, okay, and explore this potential with me as I hold this space for you. So if you can and if you're able, close your eyes and just allow your body to relax, okay? Allow your mind to go quiet. Just shut it off. Just thank it and give it a break, okay? And as you're noticing what's going on in your body, just paying attention to the sensations. Remember, your senses, your five senses, are how your soul communicates with you about everything, who you are, what you need, what you're meant to be doing. It's your senses. And the sixth sense is really the recognition of the five. That's all it is. And when you allow yourself to pay attention, that's it, to how those senses are speaking to you, that's when the awareness comes up stronger than ever before. And when you allow that to flow, okay, it will. The more you focus on it, right? That's the energy you want to feed, is the awareness of your soul. So just allowing the energy to flow through your body and allowing it to go where it needs to, okay? So yes, there's physical healing occurring, but it's also understanding that the emotions that you're holding that are connected to that physical healing are being revealed to you. And when your mind gets uncomfortable, it's going to want to stop the healing because you don't want to look in that spot. So I'm encouraging you to take a deep breath and feel anyways. Because even though it makes you uncomfortable, and even though you know you're finally going to have to deal with the changes that you are meant to be making, it's recognizing that you're meant to be making them. And in doing so, you're going to heal. And when you allow yourself to heal, you're going to create the opportunity for others to heal as well. Because everyone who is a part of that dynamic of your life, they can't heal either if you're not. So you're literally collecting all of these broken fuel tanks and you're trying to keep them all together, and they're really, it's just like smashing against each other, and nothing is working. But when you understand that, visually what they're showing me is creating like a sacred, like a circle, and everyone's fuel tanks go in the middle. Whether in you have one for at work, and you have one for at home, and you have one for extended family, it doesn't matter. One for any aspect of your life. In this circle, everyone's fuel tanks are there. And what everyone needs comes first. These are the relationships that you can see it. They're the ones that have the longevity and the vitality and the vivaciousness, the ones that where humans are connecting so deeply, and you see them because their fuel tanks are literally the foundation. They feed each other's tanks first, and everyone's thriving. The relationships where there's challenges, where there's constant disruption or discomfort, is because the fuel tanks are scattered and no one is in recognition that they even have one, let alone are they feeding it and they're not feeding each other's, right? I mean, it's not anyone's fault. And this is also important, right? It's not your fault that these things have happened. It's that you've been trained to make darn sure no one's paying attention to what anyone else needs, right? Because we're on this list of things we got to do today. And none of that is what you need for yourself, right? That comes at the end of the day. We've been taught, right? That comes at the end of the day when you're exhausted and you don't even have time or energy to do that. But what your soul is saying is start your day that way. It doesn't take hours and hours. It doesn't take tons of money. It doesn't take anything. It takes you having a pure intention. If you want to learn about purity, it's in the belief, in the book. It's you having a pure intention that says, I know I am meant to not only self-heal, but restore this balance in my body so that I can do what I came here to do. So I can fulfill my reason for existing. That's what they want you to be doing now. Focus on you, because when your tank is full, now you're going to have the opportunity to fill everyone else's. And the coolest thing is you're not giving to their tanks from your tank. Your tank remains full because that's what self-healing is. It's a constant awareness of when you do what you're meant to do, you're filling your tank no matter what. So naturally, you're also filling everyone else's. That's how it's meant to be. That's how life is meant to be. It's exactly why they've taught you not to fill your tank and not to fill anyone else's, because then you can be controlled and manipulated. So fill your tank. Feel the energy that your soul has to share and the wisdom that your soul has to share with understanding and recognition of who you are and what you're meant to be doing. And allow it to happen, because then when the energy comes in, you will have everything you need to fulfill your mission. And you can allow yourself to break up with the anger, the resentment, the fear, and the jealousy that you can't fulfill it. I love you. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
As I just was in the energy and feeling the healing capacity and the love I just followed my attention as it moved, as the energy moved throughout my body, which it did. I just sort of followed where my attention went. Is that
That start there. Start there. You're, you know, it's being able to follow the energy and receive it without needing to do anything with it, because the energy is going to do everything.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox, or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.